Helen Yee here with Eyes on the Game, and I'm here in New York with the one and only Mr. Paulie. I see that. Just got done training. Yeah. Now you brought me here to Spumoni's, the famous Spumoni's, because everyone knows I love my pizza. But we have some square-looking pizzas here. Kind of new. I'm from the West Coast, and I mean, is this kind of like a New York thing?
Yeah, I mean, Spumoni's known as like one of the top pizza places in New York. We have several great New York pizza places, but this one's not far from my house. It's I'm in Bensonhurst. This was kind of in the Coney Island, Gravesend area, and it's very famous. Anybody who's been to New York knows there's certain pizza places, Lucali, Grimaldi, Spumoni Gardens, DeFara's. There's a few very famous. Lenny's from Saturday Night Fever fame, but this is definitely one of the top ones, and you get to try it for yourself.
Wow, it is really good. I mean, obviously a lot of sauce, a lot of dough.
Good sauce.
It is good sauce, but why did you tell me to get these ones in it and not the regular slice?
They're known for this kind of slice. They're known for like the Sicilian slice. Spumoni is like, so if you come to Spumoni, if it's your first time, you got to have one of these slices because they're more famous for these kind of slices, Plus, I always enjoy a slice no matter what part of New York I'm in because, we have a lot of great pizza places, but I'm training for Artem Lobov, so I don't really have to watch my diet. I can just kind of train how I want to and then still knock that guy out.
Now, before we talk about Artem, and sorry I'm talking with my mouth full, but between these two, like, is there, something about kind of the crust, corner crust or the middle? Does it really matter?
Depends what you are. I'm a crust guy, I like the corner slices, but some people, if you're not a crust guy, you get more sauce in the middle. It depends what kind of person you are. But honestly, if you're in the New York area, like I said, this is one of the spots. Like I mentioned a few of the different great spots in New York for pizza, and this is definitely one of them.
And what makes a pizza good, in your opinion?
It's got to be great dough, great sauce. For me, a good crust. Not everybody likes the crust, but for me, I need a good crust. The taste has to really transcend, and for me, this is, and it's not just me, really. If you're from the Brooklyn area, this place right here, where we're at today, is one of the more known places, and it gets a lot of notoriety, and a lot of people know it, and it's very famous for its pizza.
What about the topping?
They say it's a special sauce. People have been trying to copy the sauce for a while. I don't know what the deal is. It's very good. And a few years ago, the owner of this place, or one of the owners of this place, was murdered, and they said it was a beef over the sauce. And I don't know. And I don't know. I don't want to laugh at anybody's demise. So I don't want to say it as a joke, but there was some kind of beef, and one of the owners of this place was actually murdered in Brooklyn. Maybe in the past, 2-3 years ago. And
only that recent, but was the beef in the sauce?
I don't know if it was over the sauce because there's like, I think they have like the sauce like patented or whatnot, and then nobody understands how to make this sauce. Only Spumoni has this kind of great sauce, and it's a killer thing. It really is.
It is good. But like you mentioned,
you're a pizza buff yourself, so how do you?
I do, but you know what? And the viewers and people watching may get kind of upset at me because I do have a pizza named after me that I created. I didn't obviously make it, but I chose the ingredients in Las Vegas at Naked City Pizza, and it's spinach, pepperoni, sausage, and French fries. So I'm used to a lot of toppings. Yeah.
I like the purity of a pizza. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not against any toppings or anything. There's certain toppings I like, but I like if the pizza has a great sauce. I like to really taste the pizza and taste the sauce.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Artem, you told me you would sign, with bare knuckle. Mm-hmm. It got released. I did get to, tell everyone you were signing, and then that happened. So you told me if he beat Jason Knight, you would fight him. You're fighting him June 22nd. First off, what did you think of that fight against Jason?
I thought it was an exciting fight, but honestly, it made me wonder how I'm not going to hurt this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I have to really wonder, like, I have to really be kind of worried that I'm going to really hurt this guy badly. Like, he's very, very limited. it was a pitiful display. It was exciting, but it was a pitiful display of combat sports ability and skills. When I watched the fight, I remember Conor McGregor tweeting the next day like, "Paulie's uncharacteristically quiet." The reason I was uncharacteristically quiet was I thought the promotion was definitely ruined. I thought that now people would know just how bad he is, how limited he is, and nobody would want to watch this fight. But thank God for the dumbest fans in the world. Mixed martial arts fans always come through. And when I started seeing the comments on social media, I started realizing, thank God they exist. Because if not for these people, this fight would not be able to sell. Because anybody with a brain understands this is a very big mismatch. But I'm glad. I love the bad blood. I love the beef, and I look forward to putting it on Artem. Artem really, he doesn't even know what to say anymore. I think even he knows he's outmatched. All he keeps talking about is my eyebrows. Like, why are you obsessing about my eyebrows suddenly? You know what I mean? By the way, I have to do them this week. I'm working the Crawford vs. Khan fight for BBC Radio in England, so I have to do my eyebrows, and I have everything on fleek. So I'll be doing them in the next couple of days. I have my training camp beard on like Rocky IV style, so I have to trim this down in the next couple of days. I'll make myself look more presentable by the weekend. But when I'm in camp, I kind of recluse myself and focus more on training and less on the good looks that I have.
But for the eyebrows, threaded or wax? Or tweezers?
I used to wax for a while. I've been threading lately.
Oh, that's actually better. So I've heard.
Well, if you go to a person that knows what they're doing, they can come out looking good both ways. But if you go to a person that doesn't know what they're doing, they'll ruin your shit. So it's very important, no matter what you're doing, threading or waxing, that the person you go to is actually the professional person and knows what they're doing.
Yes, exactly. But so you did tell me a while back, that you were going to fight Artem. But what made you kind of interested in fighting Artem? I mean, I do know the beef between you and Conor, but like, where did this kind of come from?
When everything happened with me and Conor, it was only his friends and his team were allowed in the gym. So now everybody started to kind of back up his version of events. His lie and his version of events. So I said, you know what? Looks like it's a beef with the whole team then. If you're going to all put out this lie, and obviously you're under strict orders to repeat whatever Conor says, otherwise maybe they're not in the circle of trust anymore if they don't repeat what Conor says. So I said, you know what? Then this is going to be a beef with the whole team. What really made me smile, though, was after I smacked the shit out of his boy Artem a couple weeks ago. Conor was so mad that he just started putting out a bunch of pictures. And most of the pictures, the shots weren't even landing cleanly. But I thought to myself, he's dying. He wished he had all 36 minutes of beating my ass, so he would release it right now. He put out 20 pictures, most of them not even landing a punch cleanly. He was dying to see what he could put out just to, spite me, And all he could put out was that. And I started laughing because I said, this pussy wishes he had a full video to be able to release right now. If he had the full video of kicking my ass right now was a moment he would release it, but he couldn't. And it must eat him inside that he doesn't have that. It must eat him inside that the way I beat up on him and talked to him that day, that to this day he can't get over it. And for me, what's going to eat him inside more is when I put his boy in the hospital and he's going to be able to do nothing about it. That's going to be more satisfying.
But why did you slap him? Like, what did he tell you in that exchange?
We're in Bensonhurst right now, Helen. And in Bensonhurst it was like a thing, back in the day. Obviously there was a very big Italian-American culture here, and the Italian-American culture, it was, was a little bit rougher on the edges. We were a little bit rougher on the edges ourselves, but one thing that was always a very disrespectful thing when you're talking, one man grown talking to another, if you smack the man, it was a very disrespectful thing because you bring out the bitch in him, So I didn't really go there with the intention of disrespecting or doing anything because, I thought that I felt like if I hit this guy, then the promotion might get messed up, for his fight with Knight, and then I don't want to mess it up for Dave Feldman, who's treating me very good, So when we got face to face, he started coming out of pocket. He started talking a little too much, and I just felt like, you know what? I gotta smack this bitch and put him in his place. Sometimes it wasn't like a hard slap. I didn't want to slap him hard. It was just one of those like, boom, oh, don't come out of line. When you're talking to your kid, like, boom, don't come out of line. You know better. So I gave him like one of those better smacks, like, boom, better. Don't say that, because I felt like he was getting a little threatening, and I had to remind him, like, that he's not the guy that's supposed to make the threats. He's the victim here, not the bully, And he was trying to come out of pocket and make like he was the bully. So, I kind of had to put him in his place and remind him. And on June 22nd, I'll do the rest.
How did this fight get made? Did they approach you and say, hey, look, we'll have you fight Artem? Or did you approach them and be like, you know what, I really want to fight him?
Dave Feldman had an interest in having me work with Bare Knuckle. Then he signed Artem, and it kind of presented itself, It was a slow process. If you had told me at the beginning of the year I would have been fighting Bare Knuckle, I would have thought you were crazy. But little by little, it kind of presented itself in the right way. The deal presented itself in the right way, and things came together, and here we are.
Now, you've been retired for about 2 years now, though. How do you feel kind of getting back into training camp? But like you said, I mean, it's a bit more relaxed this time around, right, for Artem?
Yeah. I made sure the fight was 155 pounds, down at 145. Not that I can't make 145, but I said, you know what? Why am I going to make this training camp hard on myself? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fighting a bum. Like, I don't need to really overexert myself like that. If I would have to make 145 pounds, I'd have to overexert myself to make the weight. If I make 155 pounds, I can just train calmly and just focus on Artem and not really have to focus on the weight, because it was one of those things where, that one of the reasons I retired 2 years ago was I got kind of sick of making weight. I got sick of a lot of things, but I said, you know what, this is a piece of cake, and if Artem doesn't want to do it, then there's no fight. You either do it on my weight or there's no fight, because Artem is going around telling people that I'm broke and telling people that I'm this. Well, now you're going to do everything on my terms. And if you're not going to do anything on my terms, then we have no fight. We're going to find out who's broke. Like, now you have to fight June 22nd despite having scissors on your face up until last week. Now you have to fight June 22nd despite fighting at a weight where you don't fight at. You fight at 145. But we're going to do everything on my terms. And if we don't do everything on my terms, then you don't fight. There is no fight. And we're going to find out who's broke. We're going to see who's desperate enough. And right now, we know Artem is desperate enough because he's accepting all my terms because he knows he needs the money.
Had they paid you not that well, you wouldn't have wanted to fight?
It wouldn't have been worth my while, training hard and making weight and all that stuff. It would have been not worth my time. It still takes time out of your day and time out of your schedule to train for a fight. I'm a very busy guy. I have work with commentating jobs and whatnot for different networks. So I wanted to make sure that it was worth my while. And like I said, Feldman had to match me, otherwise, they would have, I wouldn't have been interested. And he was, and he did. He surprised me. I can't say that I doubted him, but I thought like nobody would really pay a certain amount of money to me that would really get me interested in fighting again. But once it came out. And then me and Dave started speaking little by little. It came to a good deal, And so from there, we were able to talk about other things. And then Artem's name came up, and other things came up. And before you know it, here we are.
So where is the fight?
I'm hearing June 22nd in New Hampshire. That's what I'm hearing. Bare knuckle boxing is not legal in every state, so New Hampshire is an East Coast state. I think this fight is better on the East Coast. So I think that's where the fight will end up.
Now, when that fight got announced or even confirmed, a lot of your fans, or as I was kind of reading, social media, they were kind of worried with it being bare knuckles, and we all kind of know, throughout all these years of boxing, and kind of worried about your hands and how they are.
No. I mean, I've had hand problems in the past, but nothing dramatic in the last decade. A lot of them were early in my career. I've been working a lot barehanded. As you can see, my knuckles are scuffed up and cut up, but it's basically just skin damage. It's not anything worth worrying about or to have to really worry about. I've been working really hard, and we've been working very well, and hasn't really been a problem with anything to worry about. So I don't, I don't really anticipate a problem. I anticipate myself getting ready, being focused, and I expect on fight night to do a very good job.
How do you see the fight playing out?
I see the fight playing out with Artem getting badly hurt. I see if Artem doesn't have a corner that cares about him, he's gonna get hurt. He's gonna get very badly. This is boxing. This is not mixed martial arts. This is not anything, and not to disrespect mixed martial arts or anything, but in boxing, people die. People get traumatic brain injuries in one night. This is not mixed martial arts where they've had, I think, just as many traumatic brain injuries since the inception of the sport as boxing gets in 1 year. Okay, this is only head strikes, mainly head strikes, and Artem doesn't know how to defend himself. So I'm telling you right now that if they don't pull him out of this fight in the correct way, he's going to get hurt. He's going to get permanently hurt. So this is actually a very professional fighter against a guy who basically belongs in a tough man show, you know. And I'm telling you, he's going to get very badly hurt if his team doesn't pull him out of the fight the right way.
Who will be in your corner?
I'll have my team. You know, Sharif Uner is my trainer. I'll have Peter Sforazzo, who's been my right-hand man for my whole career. My cut man will be Danny Milano. You know, he's always been my cut man my whole career. You know, just I have my manager Anthony Canzaro, attorney Josh Dubin. You know, I'm working, and I keep the familiar faces around me.
What about Longo MMA?
I'm going to start working with Longo MMA on some stuff as well, more so in the clinches and whatnot. So Ray Longo, I'm going to head over there and be working with him a little bit as well. And of course, you know, we want to dot our I's and cross our T's. For me, it's not really about winning and losing. I know I'm going to win the fight. For me, it's making sure I can do enough damage to the guy to know he was in the ring with me. You know, because really, I mean, this is not a fight that I'm risking getting defeated here. You know, anybody with a brain in their head knows I'm not going to lose this fight. But for me, it's more than just winning it, because winning it is too easy to win it. I need to do some serious damage to this guy to really make this worthwhile for me.
What kind of damage would make it worthwhile?
Damage.
Like
a lot of damage.
Knocking him out, knocking a tooth out.
A lot of damage. I'll get more into it at the press conference if we have an announcing press conference. He needs to be damaged.
But who do you think is better, him or Conor, in terms of striking, and also who has more heart?
I think Artem definitely has more heart. In terms of striking, you know, listen, they both strike. I mean, you know, barehanded, I think everybody can be a striker. You know, I think we saw with McGregor, he's not the puncher he thought he was once you put gloves on him. You know, so you know, I think barehanded, everybody's a good striker as long as you have some accuracy. You know, so you know, I don't really rate either of them very well in terms of a just striking battle, you know. But I'll definitely tell you, Artem has more heart. There's no way Conor would have stood in that kind of fight that Artem stood in against Jason Knight. If Conor found himself in a war like that, he'd be looking for the first exit out of there fast.
What would it take for this beef between kind of like you and Conor to finally settle? Because I know you're fighting Artem, but I mean, it all does stem from Conor.
You know, I would have just fought Conor and settled it that way. But now, once I put his boy in a coma, he's gonna want to fight me, and so he's gonna have to go through my terms, and it's not just gonna be a fight. First and foremost, the first set of terms we're gonna have is the full 12-round sparring will be released before me and Conor ever fight. If the full 12-round sparring tape is never released, me and Conor have there will be not even a conversation started about fighting. Because once I put his boy in a coma, he's gonna want to fight me, because if he's any kind of man, he would. So once I do that in June, I think that he will want to fight me, but the conversation doesn't even get initiated unless 12 rounds of sparring, unedited, the way it actually happened, comes out. And if it doesn't, then Conor doesn't even start the conversation.
Do you think he will return to the UFC this year?
I don't know. You know, it's up to him, really. You know, he's a great punching bag. I'll tell you, he's a great piñata. So I mean, whoever he returns for, it'll be a fun night for that person. You know, but I don't know. You know, he's the epitome of a piñata. You know, you beat on him and he gives a great reward. Like, you know, your piñata gets you a reward. He brings a lot of money to the table, and all he does is get his ass whooped. He takes a good beating. He doesn't take a good beating because he gets himself out of the fight pretty easily. But he's a perfect piñata. You know what I'm saying? Like, his boy's a punching bag with legs. Artem Lobov. He's more of a punching bag with legs because Artem takes a good beating. But Conor's just a piñata. He breaks right away.
Now, Floyd Mayweather, kind of changing the topic, he is supposed to make an announcement sometime, you know, within the next few days. What announcement do you think he's going to make?
Who knows? You never know with Floyd. You know, he might come back to fight. He might, you know, be doing more exhibition fights. He might be opening up a new business venture. Floyd's always into making money and opening up new business ventures. So we'll see. We'll see what it winds up being, you know. But I'll tell you what, he can make an announcement that he's going to make an announcement because people will tune in, you know. Floyd's the kind of guy that at his level, he doesn't just make the announcement. He's going to make an announcement he announces that an announcement will be made and people will tune in. So we'll find out. I'm just as curious as you and everybody else, so we'll find out.
And lastly, before I finish my pizza, because I feel the sauce, it's getting a bit cold. I see that you eat quick. Big Baby Miller, He was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua in June at Madison Square Garden, got busted for drugs. What do you think of that whole situation?
It's tough, It's tough. The sport probably needs to be cleaned up a little bit better. That's where I will say that the UFC has boxing beat. The drug testing is much more strict. Like TJ Dillashaw just failed for EPO. You know how hard it is to catch somebody on EPO? the lifespan of EPO and a drug test is such a short time, the window, that to be able to catch somebody on EPO is very difficult. So when you see guys failing for EPO, you know the drug testing is strong because it's very, very difficult to catch somebody on EPO. And that's where really UFC has boxing beat. Boxing is a mess. I'm telling you, there are way more guys on it than there aren't, and it's a shame. But it's really a shame, I feel, for Jarrell because it's a great a career-changing opportunity for him. But of course, what's right has to be done right. So we'll see.
Who should fight Anthony then?
I don't know. We'll see what they end up deciding with Jarrell. But if it's not Jarrell, I think Dillian White should get the fight.
And you did say TJ Dillashaw getting busted for EPO. Now, do you think a lot more fighters in the UFC, are doing that?
I don't know. I'm not really in the MMA community. I don't know, but I will say that when you see guys getting busted for a drug like EPO, which is very, very difficult to catch and detect, the lifespan is the window to catch somebody on EPO is very, very short. When they're catching people on EPO, then the drug testing is strong. So you hope that boxing can join the fray. VADA is a very good company, but there's not enough money there for them to test on a regular basis enough like that. I actually enforced VADA in my fight with Lobov, and they felt me had to pay a pretty penny to get VADA testing for me and Lobov for our fight. It's not cheap, but he did it and he gets credit for that because for me, I don't know what everybody else is doing. For my own personal fights, I don't want any risks to be out there anymore. So we hope that boxing can join the fray with the UFC because the drug testing has to be stronger and much more on a regular basis.
Very well said. Well, like always, great to catch up with you. This time eating pizza, and now I'm going to go finish mine. So thank you so much for your time, Paulie, and I'll probably catch you around your fight time.
Absolutely. It's still good cold. Try it.
Okay.